Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to talk about the concept of overpaying for real estate. Now, as a newbie, the biggest thing that you should fear is that you will probably overpay for real estate because you're so excited to do a deal that you're going to buy real estate at a number that doesn't make sense for you and will make you lose the shirt off your back. Okay, so there's a saying, what's more important in real estate investing, having the money or finding the deal? And people, if they have enough experience, will definitely tell you that money or having money at hand isn't really that important, and finding the deal is. Because if you find a good deal, then the money will somehow come. But if you have a lot of money and you find bad deals, then you'll end up like these big companies where they just lost a ton of money in a very short time. So as you can see right here, it says that Open Door lost nearly $1 billion in Q3 in a once in a 40-year market transition. And this is kind of the same thing that happened to Zillow. So Zillow reports a $880 million loss on the failed home flipping business. So even though, let's say you have access to all the real estate data in the world like Zillow would, just because you have that and you don't have a solid foundation or strategy for real estate investing, doesn't mean that you know you're going to make money, right? Having all the money in the world without a foundation is probably a bad idea. And that's kind of what we offer. We offer mentorship, education, and a good foundation for real estate investing. So one of the things I also want to mention is that if you're doing real estate without a lot of money, say you're kind of broke, but you're kind of hanging in there. One of the benefits of trying to do real estate investing without any money is that really prevents bad deals. Like you cannot, so let's say you have no money, but you get a deal under contract and you try to sell a bad deal to another fix and flipper, which is called wholesaling, if you're not familiar with that term. No fix and flipper will give you money for the deal. So if you have all the money, there's nothing really stopping you if you don't just kind of exercise like mental caution. And no, there's nothing preventing you from buying overpriced real estate where you eventually have to sell, especially if you can't hold on to the long term, and you'll go ahead and lose money easily. So just kind of think of that food for thought that doing real estate without money really prevents bad deals. Okay, so I'll just do a quick analysis of what say will be a potential fix and flip property. So one thing I want to mention or kind of emphasize is that a lot of people really overestimate how much they can pay for real estate. And that's because they're thinking about it in terms of, let's say, their personal home. They're thinking in terms of a retail buyer, but we have to think of terms as an investor. We're not going to live in it. Our job is to buy the property, do something to it, and then dispose of it and make money, right? So let's just assume that we're going to do a fix and flip, and we'll do a quick analysis. So when we're doing fixing and flipping, the number we have to start off is what we call the ARV, which is the after repair value. So the after repair value is, let's say you have an ugly house, you fix it all up. That's the value that would be sold at, or that you're estimating it'll be sold at. Now, how would you get the estimate? Could get it from a real estate agent, you get it from an appraiser, but they would get it from something called comps or comparable sales. So what they're going to do is kind of take like an average of similar homes in the area that are local to it, and try to estimate those home so just kind of get an estimate or average of homes that sold in the last maybe 6 to 12 months, and estimate, okay, because those homes sold at X price, and I'm kind of really simplifying it, your home would sell for whatever price, right? And so let's just assume we have a house that's at $300,000 an estimated value, because maybe the house across the street last week that's exactly like your house, but not ugly, sold for $300,000, right? So we have to start off with that number. And then I like to do this. I like to subtract my profit. So how much money do you want to make from doing a fix and flip. And this is something that you have to decide. Do you want to make 15,000, which kind of seems low for a fix and flip, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000? We'll just say I want to make 40,000, right? So you have to start off with, or I like to start with how much profit you'll make. The next thing you want to start off in every stage of the transaction has a cost. So you have to take into account buying costs. So for example, inspection, appraisal, maybe some title work or whatever. And so each one of those things are going to cost a couple $100. But let's just make a estimate. We'll say $3,000. And the numbers really depend on what market you're in, right? So in certain markets, some of these services will cost a lot more than in others. Okay, so we have our buying costs. And then if you're going to use some sort of a loan, then you have to take account of like financing costs, right? And financing, especially with the origination fees, they can kind of add up. So maybe like $12,000 to $17,000. If you're using a hard money loan, you'll have to factor in those costs as well. So we'll just say, I don't know, we'll just say $15,000, right? Just to originate the loan. And then, so after we get financing, and then we have to take account for holding costs, right? So utilities, taxes, insurance, things that are kind of get charged to you somewhat in a monthly cycle. And, you might say, okay, this is going to cost me X amount for 3 months. And we'll just say, I don't know, we'll just make up a number right here and say that it costs us $2,000 for 3 months because we have a great crew and we get sold within that time period. So 3 months. And then after you hold it, right? Well, while you're holding it, what do you got to do? You got to repair it, right? So while you're holding, and I didn't put that in the holding costs, but maybe you could do that. But so contractor comes in and they say, well, it takes about, and this number can be variable. So $37,000 to go ahead and fix it up. So again, it might take them 1 month, 2 months, who knows, but they'll give you a number, and this is all factored in to your costs. So after you've repaired it and held it, what do you got to do? You got to sell it, right? So selling has its own costs. So selling costs, right? And how much, if you hire a real estate agent, how much does a real estate agent charge? 6%. So if there's just one agent who, it would be 6%, and if there's two agents, like a buyer's agent, and again, all of this is negotiable, and there's different things that you can do, but you might split it up 3 or you could just forego that and post it, pay like a realtor $500 to post it on the MLS. That's what I've heard. I've never done that before. But just be aware that you have to just assume that it's part of your cost to sell the property, and it's probably going to be 6%. And then some of the other costs, like legal stuff, and I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there will also be other costs in addition to the real estate that are associated with selling the property. And you could just put this at a 9% cost. So 6% for the real estate agent, 3% for some other things, and let's just kind of calculate that. So 3% of $300,000. Would that be 9,000? Let's check. So 300,000 times 0.09. Oh, I was totally wrong. 27,000. 27,000. So 27,000. So now our job is just to do the math. So figure out how much profit we want. What are our buying costs? Again, these can be varied based on your market, and costs will fluctuate over time. So even in the same market, what cost? Same thing kind of like with the stuff in the supermarket, inflation. So something that was really cheap 1 year can maybe be more expensive the next year. Okay, so we got selling costs, and let's go ahead and add that up or do the calculation. So now 300,000, subtract our profit, 40,000. Okay. Subtract our financing costs, which is, we'll say 15,000, minus their holding costs, which is 2,000, minus repair costs is 37,000, and then minus their selling costs is 27,000. So in order for us to make this $40,000 profit, we have to make an offer, or what we call our MAO, which is maximum allowable offer, to be 179, we'll say 180K. So 180,000. Now, a lot of people are ashamed to make these kind of offers, right? Because the house is supposed to be 300,000 on the retail market, but because you're dealing with a distressed homeowner who doesn't want to sell but needs to sell, and you're trying to help them out, but at the same time make money on your end, the maximum that you can pay is this amount. So think about, like, from the average person's point of view who's willing to pay more than $100,000 for the dream home. I keep saying this before, you have to really underpay. And this is kind of the offer that, most people would be ashamed to make. Maybe they make it and then they just run out with their tail between their legs because they think the seller will get mad at them. And some sellers will get mad because, people are strange. They have an ugly home that needs a lot of work, but they think they're going to get top dollar, and they might be a little delusional. But so you have to know the fundamentals of basics. So if you can do this basic analysis, even though it's not 100% T to the accurate, but just as long as you understand the concept, you'll do a lot better than big companies with lots of, or who have access to lots of money. So again, the average person thinks that they can pay way too much for real estate. So if they get, let's say, like a 30%, 30% I'm not, sorry, not 30%, 10% discount, which will be $30,000, they'd be excited about that, right? So if they went on an open retail market and bought a $300,000 property for 270,000, yeah, that's really good. But as a real estate investor, you're going to lose money, and you have to pay a lot lower than you expect you would. Okay, so this is it regarding overpaying for real estate. So just make sure, if you're an investor, you never overpay. If you're looking for some sort of mentorship and you're interested in joining a group, go ahead and click that Google form link below. Go ahead or go to the About page and mail us in using our email, and send us an email saying, hey, I'm interested in joining a group, and we could set up a group call, see if you're a good fit. All right. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll speak next time.